Before I get busy with your Friday video report and the subsequent complimentary play, a quick word of thanks and appreciation going out to those of you who took part once more and participated in the Charity Play of the Week program on Thursday and immediately made contributions. Many of your names I recognize. I don't know you personally, but I see your names. And all I can say is thank you. It is a program that is dear to my heart. It's something that I created over 5 years ago because I thought there was some greater good to gambling, that this community of caregivers that with your help that we have managed to create, and together we have contributed well over $300,000 to total strangers in times of need and financial crisis along the way. And this particular case, a 29-year-old woman, a mother of two children, no life insurance, passed away unexpectedly 2 weeks ago, and her family, a friend putting up a fundraiser page to raise funds to pay for her funeral expenses because she passed away with no life insurance. And immediately I put my contribution in, and over a dozen of you immediately put contributions in as well. And that's what makes the program so successful. And it doesn't matter whether it's $5, $10, whatever you can afford to give. Listen, I put my 250 in. I'm not expecting you to do the same. I'm just asking you to participate. And I'd stopped doing the program a couple of months ago because I got tired of seeing nobody contribute. And I thought, perhaps the message was falling on deaf ears. So it was very rewarding to suddenly put it up and immediately see people start to contribute again. And it will remain up over the next week. And as you know, I am not beyond bribing people to contribute. And that's why, as you see up on the homepage, if you happen to be watching the video on the site, you can save $50 on the purchase of any handicapper's 7-day discount package. So if you happen to already have a handicapper's package and you want to extend it out further another 7 days, you can save $50 off an extension. Or if you happen to not have any long-term package and you want to buy a 7-day package, you save $50 off a 7-day package. You can save $125 off a 30-day package. And in that case, if you happen to have a package already and want to extend it out further, there may be instant rebates, and they are applicable as well. All those discounts are over on the home page, so please take advantage of them. Now, before I get to your complimentary play, let's talk about last night's Game 1 fiasco from a Cleveland Cavaliers standpoint. Yesterday here on the video report, I said that I thought the Cavaliers were the play in game number 1, but I wasn't using a game 1 selection because I had made my money earlier in the day. Yet another 15-dime best bet winner, number 7 out of 8 over the past week and a half, as I cashed in with the Indians, another half-price play of the day release, and an 8-0 run line win over the Oakland A's. And I was very content cashing in early because I like to use game number 1 as a barometer of what is to come for the rest of a best-of-7 series. And I was very happy that I did, because I believe every single handicapper that had a play on the side selection in that contest last night had Cleveland. I also believe that every single handicapper that had a play on the total in that game had the over, and we saw how both the side and the total turned out. Now, in my analysis yesterday, I said that LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, I thought, would have their normally good games, and they certainly did. But I thought the key in the contest would be the contributions that the Cavaliers would get from Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson. I said that I thought that they being the Cavaliers, would need to get a combined 35 points and 20 rebounds from those two. That those two had to at least draw even on the glass for the Cavaliers, because that would allow Cleveland to get plenty of second chance point opportunities, and by at least drawing even on the boards would prevent Golden State from running the break, which they're so devastating at. Because if you remember, in the regular season, that was the bugaboo for Cleveland's defensive woes. Other teams just getting out on transition and killing the Cavaliers. That's why they suck defensively. But you saw in the postseason, Tristan Thompson averaged a near double-double, and Kevin Love had great games off the glass. And consequently, the Pacers, the Raptors, and then the Celtics were unable to run their transition game effectively. But the Cavaliers not only thwarted their opponents defensively, but by doing such a strong job on the glass, they in turn were able to get out on the break. And that made LeBron James so dangerous, not only driving the lane, but also as a facilitator. And that led to Cleveland, a byproduct of their transition game being such deadly three-point shooters, which you saw throughout the season. They were just great marksmen from beyond the three-point line. So what happened last night? Well, we saw Tristan Thompson was just an absolute no-show. 0 points, 0 points, 4 rebounds in 22 minutes. A no-show. Absolutely nothing from Tristan Thompson. You look at Kevin Love, and, box scores are a funny thing. On the surface, you look at a line score, and you say, well, hey, Kevin Love, he had a good game because he had all these rebounds. And I'm just looking at the box score here in front of me, and you say, hey, Kevin Love had 15 points and 21 rebounds. But then you look at the box score, and you see that Kevin Love shot 4 for 13. And then you realize that the reason that Kevin Love had 21 rebounds in that game is because the Cavaliers as a team shot 34.9%. When you can't hit the broadside of the barn, the ball's going to drop into somebody's hand. And consequently, quite often it was falling into Kevin Love's hand because the Cavaliers were constantly missing. So those 21 rebounds, they were what I call shallow rebounds. They were meaningless rebounds. So Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson, who I said had to combine for 35 points and 20 rebounds, combined for 15 points and 25 rebounds. The rebounds were worthless rebounds. The points simply weren't there. But the Cavaliers' problems went even deeper than that. Yes, they shot 34.9%. They were 11 for 31 with three-pointers. They were outscored 56-30 in the paint. And then you look at the supplemental players. J.R. Smith continued his postseason scoring drought, 3 points. Kyle Korver has been a bust. Let's face it, since the Cavaliers acquired him. 0 points. Deron Williams, 0 points. No contributions from the bench. Nothing worthwhile. Ty Lue went ahead and took Thompson out and used Richard Jefferson, thinking that Richard Jefferson was going to be able to at least contain Kevin Durant. Yeah, how did that work? And here's the scary part about this game. The Warriors were up by 8 at halftime, and then they expanded that lead to 24 points, right? The Warriors missed in the first half 11 driving layups and 15 shots from close range, and yet they were still up by 8 points at halftime. That's scary, right? The Warriors for the game only shot 42.5%. The Warriors were 12 for 33 from three-point land, but they had great distribution, 31 assists. They had 27 fast break points to only 9 for the Cavaliers. They had 18 second chance points. Durant, of course, had the monster game, 38 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and Steph Curry had 28 points, 10 assists, and 6 three-pointers. And the Warriors committed only 4 turnovers, which was a postseason low for them. Meanwhile, the Cavaliers, well, LeBron James had 8 of their 20 turnovers, and those 20 turnovers led to 21 points. But here's the other scary things that you think about. Klay Thompson, who has had a miserable postseason when it comes to shooting the ball, continued to misfire last night. 3 for 16. And then Draymond Green, 2 early fouls, never really got into any type of offensive rhythm last night. He finished with 9 points and 11 rebounds, but he was 3 for 12 shooting. So let me just paint this picture. How about in game 2, if Draymond Green gets involved offensively? How about if Klay Thompson gets it going offensively? Yes, I expect the Cavaliers to shoot better than 35%. And I expect that Tristan Thompson is going to have a better game. But what happens if the Warriors, Thompson and Green, have better games? What happens if the Warriors play better offensively? Do the Cavs even have a chance? So those are the things that I'm watching the game last night and then reviewing the box score in my evaluation period, using game number 1 as a barometer for game number 2 and the rest of the series. But game number 2 is still a day or so away, so we'll worry about that in the future. Let's talk about some baseball free selections here tonight. Guys, I used the Cleveland Indians yesterday as a best bet, and I'm going to come right back and ride them with Josh Tomlin tonight at Kansas City. Josh Tomlin just faced the Royals in Kansas, or at home on Sunday, and it was one of the only 3 games that the Indians won in that series at home against the Royals. And it started their 4 wins in a 5-game stretch that they carry into the start of this road trip. Now, Tomlin at home on Sunday, complete game, 6-hitter, goes to distance, allows 1 run, strikes out 3. No walks in the contest. No big surprise because it's his first complete game since September of 2015 against, guess who? The Kansas City Royals, who he has dominated in his career with a 10-4 lifetime record. Tomlin coming off a very strong month of May, 3.58 earned run average, and I say that's a strong month because in the month of April, he had an 8.87 earned run average. Jason Vargas is going for Kansas City. He, ironically, beat Cleveland in Cleveland on Saturday with 5.2 innings of 9-hit, 2-run ball. Again, I do like the Indians. They've won 4 of their last 5, and in those 4 wins, they scored 32 runs. Meanwhile, the Royals opened their current homestand by losing 2 out of 3 to Detroit, and the Indians have played well on the road. They're 16-10 on the season, virtual pick'em game. I'm going to go with the Indians in this contest. Yeah, that's going to be your complimentary play for today as I ride the Cleveland Indians. I thought about taking Detroit at home tonight with Michael Fulmer, who has been a steady play at home for the Tigers since his rookie season last year, which won him American League Rookie of the Year honors. But I'll tell you what, the more I handicapped that game and I looked at the White Sox and I looked at how well Derek Holland has been pitching for Chicago, I just could not pull the trigger on Detroit. I thought about going against Rick Porcello, who burned me. It's the only game that I've lost over the past week and 8 days or so. Rick Porcello is having a hard time following up his American League Cy Young Award-winning season of a year ago. But the problem is, and he has pitched very well on the road, 2.77 earned run average for the Red Sox in 4 road starts this season. And Alec Asher, the Phillies farmhand, who was picked up by the Orioles here early in the year, is making his 3rd start in place, or 4th start in place of Ubaldo Jimenez, who he replaced in the starting rotation. And that last start that he had on Sunday, where he had a chance to really take control and earn a spot in the Orioles rotation, you talk about bombing miserably as he gave up 6 runs in 2 innings. So even though the Orioles took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees to snap a 7-game slide to start their home stand and are 18-8 at home this season, I just can't pull the trigger on that game either. So I'm just going to ride the Indians and Josh Tomlin, and that's going to be your complimentary play for this Friday night card. I wish you well, guys, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.